What's up, everybody? Last week we got Season 6, the final season of Black Ops 6 and Warzone. So as usual, we're going to look at the meta. Today we're going to be looking at the long range, and we're going to go through the loadouts, and then we're going to jump over to true game data so I can talk a little more in depth. But before we do all that, if you want to come hang out live on Twitch, I'm playing a lot of Battlefield recently, but I'm going to be back on Warzone and Apex soon enough, as well as playing all sorts of new games, and I have my single-player Sundays as well. Twitch is linked down below, as well as my Instagram, TikTok, single-player channel, and car-related social medias and channels, and my Twitter is down there below, which doesn't really have a theme to it. But if you want to support me here, there, or anywhere else, I really do appreciate it. But let's go ahead and jump into these loadouts. So starting at number 5 is the new Merrick 5.56. Now, this has a pretty good overall time to kill across the board, but it's got a little more recoil than everything except for one other option on this list. The option in front of it has the most recoil on this list, and this doesn't have an extreme amount of recoil, but it's certainly more than the top 3. So as usual, optic is of your choice. I cannot see enough with the 1x, so I don't ever do the 1x. I stick with the Willis 3x. If you're looking for a compromise, the Jason Armory 2x is a lot of people's compromise, and it's a good optic as well. Then I run the compensator. If you don't find the recoil challenging, of course, go with the monolithic suppressor, but I like going with the compensator. The barrel is another choice that we talk about. I go with the reinforced barrel because I like both damage range and bullet velocity. But if you want more damage range, go long barrel. If you want if you want bullet velocity, go gain twist. I like to get a little bit of both, so I go with the reinforced barrel. Vertical foregrip for the horizontal recoil control. Extended mag 2. If you're playing solos, you can probably get away with no mag. But go extended mag 1 if you're in duos. Trios and quads, you got to go extended mag 2. Then I go light stock. A lot of people will go with the balanced stock. I like the light stock better. The light stock gives you more hipfire speed, movement speed, and strafing movement speed, where the balanced stock also adds that sprint to fire speed, and a lot of people will go with that. I don't have everything fully unlocked, but there's not the other stocks aren't worth it. This is leveled up more than enough. And you'll notice there is no rear grip option here. Interesting enough, there is no rear grip, so there's only 7 total possible attachments. I am not putting a laser on there. If you're going to, you could go target laser, or you could go Strelic laser. The other lasers aren't really worth using because they're all hipfire based. So I just stick with 7 attachments and then recoil springs. You can put the overpressured on if you want, but like I said, this does have more recoil than everything on the list. So especially if you're going to use monolithic suppressor, go recoil springs. You could go overpressured, but I think you need the recoil springs for this. And if you want to go 5 attachments, drop the recoil springs, drop the stock. It's the normal 5 attachment build. So moving on to number 4, we have the AMAX. The AMAX does have the best overall TTK on this list, but it does also have the most recoil. And since it's got the most recoil, it goes further down the list. It's the same exact build we just talked about, except we have the commando grip here to help aim down sight and sprint to fire speed. If you want more aim down sight, you go quick draw. You want more sprint to fire speed, you go assault grip. Okay, for a second I thought they changed something. There's the ergonomic grip as well, but that gives you dive to fire and jumping aim down sight speed. We don't really care about that. So commando grip for the most balanced approach. Then it's light stock again, and then recoil springs. If you want to go 5 attachments, just drop the last 3 as usual, rear grip, stock, and fire mods, and go with the rest. But like I said, this does have the most recoil on this list, so do with that what you will. Then we have the Ames, who keeps hanging around on this list. Exact same build we just talked about. You can go overpressured much more easily on here. This does not have a lot of recoil, but I would rather lead my shots more. So I lean into controlling the recoil and just having to lead shots, because lower bullet velocity just means you have to lead your shots a little more at really long distances. But other than that, it's the exact same build with the exact same changes you could make. Moving on to number 2, we have the GPR. I still believe the GPR is the second best option. Exact same build we just talked about. Once again, I go recoil springs over overpressured because I just would rather control my shots and lead my shots a little more, but it's the exact same build we've talked on everything. If you're going 5 attachments, just remove the rear grip, the stock, and the fire mods. Finally, moving on to number 1, it is still the Kilo. The meta did not really change in the long range. and it's the build we just talked about. Now, I have overpressured here because the recoil is almost non-existent, and if you're really fine with the recoil, go with the monolithic suppressor, or keep compensator on, go overpressured, but you can go overpressured and monolithic suppressor. You can also go monolithic suppressor and then go recoil springs. This is just how I like it, and no stock is the light stock in this case. So it's the same build we've been running. Whatever you're comfortable with, the Kilo is really what you should run. This is what I prefer to run, and I do think the Kilo is #1 overall, despite not having the best long-range TTK. So that's a quick run through the top 5 and the loadouts as well. If that's all you're interested in, thank you so much for watching. All of the views are appreciated, no matter how long you stay around. But for the rest of us, we are going to go over true game data. All right, so we're over on true game data now. Usually I like to put in, if I have like a monolithic suppressor on, or at least the reinforced barrel, something just to make these charts more close to what the loadouts actually represent. But the Merrick doesn't have attachments yet, so I left all the attachments off. And then we also went with the combination values here, the default true game data combination values. So the Kilo ends up right in the middle of the pack until things start to drop off, and then it just kind of hangs around the middle of the pack. And having the least amount of recoil on this list and not being like necessarily worse than any guns or best than any is what really keeps it in the meta. Because like if we go to headshots, well, now it's better than the GPR. Neck shots, now it's only better than the Merrick at long range. Chest is the same as neck. Stomach shots, it's now better than the Merrick and the Kilo, and the GPR at long range. But you can see it's always like better than 1 or 2. Go upper arm, lower arm, upper leg, lower leg. It's never the worst. It's just never the best. But it's also the easiest to shoot. So it ends up being #1 just because it's the easiest to shoot. You can see the AMAX has the best TTK at long range, and it's not particularly close, especially once the Merrick drops off at 52 meters until it drops off. The AMAX drops off again at 70 meters, and then it just beats everything else. The Merrick does fall off really hard, which is another reason why it's #5. But until it falls off on that last damage drop off, it has a very good TTK. It's just also harder to shoot than the GPR and the AIMs. The GPR, part of the reason where it is up to 32 meters. It is by far the best. It does drop off really hard, but it kind of recovers in the long range and becomes the 3rd best option. And it has very manageable recoil. And the AIMs is just middle of the road the entire way and is also very easy to shoot. So I went with ease of use here in my top 3 over overall TTK, because otherwise the AMAX would be #1 and the Merrick would probably be a little bit higher, because once we start getting out past 60, 70, it starts to matter less what your listed TTK is and how versus how many shots you can hit. And with the Kilo, the GPR, and the AIMs, you're hitting more shots than you are with the Merrick and more than you are with the AMAX. So that's my top 5 and why it's my top 5. But thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you like this type of content, the equivalent in Apex content, patch notes, intel drops, meta rankings, or you like game reviews. Anytime I play a new game, I like to post a game review. And like Battlefield's case and BO7 coming up, we'll do campaign and multiplayer as separate reviews. So make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell if that interests you and you want to be able to see that first. And comment down below what you think of my top 5, the way I order it, the way I build them, whatever. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And don't forget to check out all the links in the description. Twitches, TikToks, Instagrams, Twitter, single player channel, car YouTube channel. All of that is linked down below. But I will see you on Verdansk. Get frying. Have a good day. Bye.